everybody, CW here. It's day 5. So here's our 5th installment for Timmy's 10 Guns in 10 Days challenge from TreeTop Outdoors. And I'm going to do another twofer. I couldn't decide on which to do. This one here I've had in a few videos. This one here I haven't had in a few videos, but there's all kinds of videos all across YouTube. And they both really fit. I am a 22 Magnum nut. I just love the cartridge. So I've got all different kinds of firearms chambered in 22 Magnum. And these two are just two that I really like a lot. I shoot a lot. I like everything about both of them. And I got a little bit of a story with each one. This one here I owned first. Obviously it's older. And this is not the first one that I owned. I've actually owned 3 of these. The first one I owned was identical to this. This was made by Arcadia Machine and Tool, AMT. And they actually offered 3 different versions. They offered a long barrel, 6-inch barrel. They offered a 4 3/4 barrel, and they offered a really short one. All 22 Magnum, all the same 9-shot magazines. And they basically loosely 1911 styled. They lack the grip safety, and they've got a slide mounted safety, but they take down the same. They've got the same style barrel in the front. They got the same locking slide lock. They function the same. They feel the same. They've got really good sights on them. These are millet adjustable, fully adjustable sights. Very, very visual. Very nice picture. Just overall a really nice package. But the first one I had, I bought who knows where, and I actually carried that quite a bit as a trail gun. I was using a Smith 651 a lot at the time that I really liked, but I wanted to get into an auto and found this one. Excuse me. It shot really good. I shot it well. It carries easy. It's thin. I wouldn't call it lightweight, especially compared to this one, but it carries pretty well. And they carry a warning from the factory not to shoot. And I believe it's Winchester ammo, but I'm not certain. It's basically at the time there wasn't a lot of different 22 Magnums, because we're talking about the late 80s, early 90s. But I believe it was Winchester they didn't recommend, and I think it was because the cases were so thin. What would happen is this has a gas system in it, a modified gas system, and there's actually ports just ahead of the chamber that, as the bullet passes by, they catch pressure and it goes back in ports in the barrel, and there's a bunch of little holes ringing the cylinder that help float the cartridge case out of the chamber. It's just it's their design, and it works pretty well, except when you get a really thin case, and then it can actually blow holes in the case and freeze it in the chamber and foul things up. And that's exactly what happened to me. I brought it to get it repaired, and we couldn't get it done. AMT had just gone out of business, so we're talking probably in the early 90s. And I was sunk. So we trashed the gun, and I looked for another one. And we found a 4 3/4 inch gun, and I actually liked it better for handling, a commander sized. But the gun was woefully inaccurate. It didn't shoot anywhere near as good as the first one. And I sold that one off. And then a few years ago, a friend of mine gifted me this as a basket case. He couldn't get it to work. He was missing some parts, and knew I loved 22 Magnums. I did him a couple favors, so this was kind of like his gift to me, payment / just a good friend. And here it is. Well, I was able to get it fixed. I think it was the guide rod. I think it was the guide rod that was bad. I got it fixed, and it actually shoots pretty good, and you've seen it in a couple of my videos. And I like it a lot. I don't use it so much anymore, but it's a really good one. This one here came out a few years ago. This is a Kel-Tec PMR 30. And when I first saw these released, I wanted it right away. I had to have it. So they came in, I went down to the store, picked it up, and all I could think of was squirt pistol, water squirt gun. I couldn't buy this thing. I put it back down and walked away. It's a piece of plastic. It's a toy. It's literally, it weighs nothing. It's like a paperweight. It's all plastic frame, plastic slide. It's got a little bit of metal in here, and of course it's got a steel barrel. But it's plastic. It's way more plastic than a Glock. There's no metal sleeve in here. It's totally a plastic magazine with a metal spring. It just, the whole thing is just, I don't know, I couldn't do it. So I put it down and walked away. And then a buddy of mine said, oh, we got to get these. He's a 22 Magnum nut as well. You got to get these. These are awesome. Let's go get a pair of these. They'd be great for us for trail riding and for carrying for when we go to trail. We only need a couple magazines. You know, they had 30 rounds in a magazine. So 2 magazines and you got more than a box of bullets. It's great. So I said, all right, yeah, all right. So we went and looked at it, and at that time they were starting to get popular. And this is before there was any colors. They were just all black. And I was looking at one, and he's looking at one, and he says, I'm going to buy it. And I looked at it, and I just had that hiccup. It's all plastic. It's way worse than a Glock. I mean, I like Glocks. I do well with them. I shoot them well. They have their faults. They're not perfect, but I like them. This was just too much plastic. I couldn't do it. And I put it down on the counter, went over to talk to him. There was another guy looking at it, and that's when he said he's going to buy one. So I said, you know, all right, I guess so. I went back over, and the one I was looking at, the guy that picked it up beside me bought it. So my buddy got his, I didn't get one. So then it went a few months, and another buddy of mine said that he put 3 of these on order, and the colors had just came out. They offered these in a green and a tan, I think, a green and a khaki. I know the green ones, but I'm pretty sure khaki as well. I'm not positive, but anyway, colors. So he called me up and he said, "Want to go to the gun store?" I said, "Sure. I'm going to pick up a PMR 30. I said, "Oh, I looked at those for a while and just couldn't get them, and the prices went crazy, wicked crazy numbers they were asking for them." And he said, "No, these are going to be, you know, $380 or $410 or whatever the heck they were." And I said, "Well, how'd you get that?" He says, "Well, I ordered them when they first came out and froze in the price, locked in the price, because I paid for them in full. And they couldn't get them, and it wasn't my fault, so he honored the price." I said, "Oh, that's awesome." I said, "What the heck did you order 3 for?" He said, "I don't know." He's like that. So we go down there, and he had 2 black ones and a green one. And my buddy said, "Well, I'm only going to take 2. So I said, "Oh, all right, I'll take the 3rd one." So I just did the paperwork and paid my buddy. And I got the black one. I got this one. I tell you, it doesn't shoot as good as this. It's not as accurate. And I've had to go all through it. You've got to do quite a bit of things to these to make them really run good. They're pretty good, but they're not perfect. And even Kel-Tec, you go on the Kel-Tec users forum and it says fluff and buff. It's what you got to do. You got to polish everything. You got to work on everything to get them to work. And now this gun will actually feed a Winchester rimfire, which, if you know what it is, it's not the Magnum. It's a 45 grain bullet going about 1,400 feet per second, and they're a good cartridge to shoot in Magnum bolt rifles or pump rifles or single shots where you don't have an action to worry about, because they're a little bit lower powered and they're not going to rip up game and destroy game as much. Winchester came out with a Dynapoint that's almost identical ballistics, but it's the full length Magnum case, where these Winchester rimfires are a little bit shorter case. But notoriously, they do not work, but they work in here. I can shoot them. I can load a magazine, 30 of them, and I can shoot them in here, and they'll function, they'll cycle. I put a dot on here, and it doesn't work great because the added weight, it's such a light slide. The added weight of even a lightweight red dot made it iffy for cycling and feeding. And it's too bad because the sights are pretty good, but they're not adjustable for elevation, and I believe it shoots low, and they haven't come out with different height front sights to compensate for it. And it's a proprietary groove and style sight, so it's not something that you can just, you know, use something from another firearm. So I've just put up with what it is. It shoots good enough. You couldn't really hunt with it past a certain distance, but for defensive purposes, you know, wild dogs and critters and stuff like that, and outdoors, small critters, it's fine. I mean, I could hit a tennis ball at 25 yards, but I may not hit it with the first shot type of thing, you know. Whereas this one here, I could hit a golf ball at, well, I could hit a tennis ball at 50 yards. This one shoots really good. But this one's got 30 rounds. This one's got 9. So, you know, you can load up one magazine and not need any extra ammo at all, and you're good to go. Where this one here, you need to carry a little extra ammo with you. So there you go. There's 2 really neat 22 Magnum semi-auto pistols that you probably don't see every day, and I like them a lot. So there's my day 5, the 22 Magnums from Keltec and a Arcadia Machine and Tool, AMT. Listen, there's a whole bunch of guys doing this. Check them out. I've left links in previous videos for a couple of their channels. Off the top of my head, Mark Thomas, Walk with Al, Boomstick 776, Hamilton Outdoors. There's somebody else that just started doing them that I'm going to miss, and I just thought of, and I can't think of who it is. Of course, Timmy at TreeTop Outdoors. He's the guy who's created this challenge and you know, challenged all the rest of us to do this. So go check these guys out. They all have great channels. Throw them a sub. I think you'll appreciate what they've got. That's about it. I got a couple more days to go. We're halfway through. This is, like I said, day 5. We're halfway through, and I think I'm going to do a couple of classics for you. I've got, I want to try staying in this genre here of not so common guns. So maybe I'll step over into classics. I may not be able to stay rifle, shotgun, pistol, because I'm running out of pistol stuff that's really unique enough for me to bring to you. So that's about it for today. God bless everybody. CW out.